Hi, my name is Dominick Zirilli. I have over 20 years chef experience, and I'm currently the corporate chef for Thomas Foods USA. My main goal is to help you create approachable, restaurant-quality meals at home. Today we're going to go over how to bone out a leg of lamb and to also butterfly it. One of the first things we're going to talk about with the leg of lamb are the different varieties you're going to see in the supermarket. Last thing I want you to do is say, I see a different cut. It looks a little bit different than what I saw in the video, and then walk down to the chicken aisle. Right? So we want to keep you focused on lamb. We want you to buy the lamb. The first one is a bone-in leg of lamb. So it's exactly what you would think. It's completely bone-in from the ankle all the way down to the hip right here. So there's a bone that runs through here. Second one is semi-boneless, where they've taken a little bit of the bone out for you, but we still have some work to do. And then the last one will be the boneless, completely boneless. They've taken it all out. It's ready to go. Right now we're going to talk about what knife to use for this project. Any knife that you have will work, just make sure that it's sharp. I prefer to use something a little bit smaller, like a boning knife. If I don't have that, use like a paring knife. A chef knife will work, but it's a little bit too long to get that leverage you're looking for. One of the first things we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the piece of meat. We're going to look at the fat coverage. If there's a lot, we want to take any excess off. Good thing is we're using Australian grass-fed products, so there's minimal fat coverage on the outside. We don't have an X-ray machine, so we're going to make small incisions, follow the bone, get the bone out, and we're done. You want to scrape against the bone because obviously we want to keep as much of the meat as possible. And you'll start to see that it'll start to pull away a little bit. Again, always cutting behind the fingers. Let the knife tell you where to go. And you don't want to cut all the way through because this is called a butterfly cut, so we want to make sure that we leave a hinge there at the bottom. Cutting through any kind of tendons that are holding this bone on. I'm going to make sure that you can see it well, but it's really not as hard as it looks because you're just following it around. If you want to, you can further butterfly it by extending the meat out, depending on how you want it to cook. Okay, so we got the bone out. That was the hardest part. And now main objective is to make sure that we have a fairly flat piece of meat that we're able to season on both sides and to have a nice even cooking temperature. To stuff or not to stuff? That's the question today. And it's your kitchen, you do what you like. Today we're going to talk about just really putting some aromatics in there. And those are going to be some simple herbs and flavoring ingredients that are going to infuse the meat from the inside out to add that extra dimension of flavor. Hey, now we're going to talk about the actual rolling and securing of the leg of lamb, and now we got the stuffing in there. The key thing is, usually we'd use some kind of butcher twine, some kind of string to do it. If you don't have that, no despair. Let's go with some skewers, right? All we're doing is we're just trying to secure it, because what we don't want to happen is for the meat to open up as it starts to cook and shrink on us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to roll it, try to keep the ingredients in. Remember, we're not going end to end with the stuffing, because we don't want to squeeze out the side if we can avoid it. Okay, so here we are. We got the butcher's twine here, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my first knot here, and that's just gonna hold the place where I'm at, and then we're gonna make a series of ties going down here. So I don't want to do a ton of individual knots just because it's make it a little bit easier for me. We're just trying to secure this so it doesn't fall apart while we're doing our cooking. I'm just pulling through, making little loops. And you don't need a ton of them, but you just want to kind of have a consistent shape. And all we're going to do is just make a little finishing knot. You're going to see you've got just your little knots there. So when we do our cut to finish up, we're just going to make one cut and everything will kind of come apart. As with any great production, you always need a good supporting cast. And using Thomas Farms lamb is very important, but we also have the ingredients that will help bring out and enhance some of the flavors. A couple ways that we can introduce flavors. One is through marinating. It will add flavor and it will also tenderize a little bit. And you can do that anywhere from a couple hours beforehand to even keeping it in refrigerator overnight in a sealed plastic bag. Works out wonderful. We can also do something like a dry rub. And if you're going to sprinkle dry rub on there, that's great, but how about using a little bit of whole grain mustard to really make it adhere on there and build that nice crust when you're going to roast it through. And then make sure we're seasoning the inside as well. So salt and pepper on the inside, any kind of herbs, rosemary, thyme, any of the aromatics we talked about, put that inside the lamb before you roll it and tie it up. And season it well before it goes in the oven, and you'll be good to go. When you're cooking our lamb, there's really only two things I want you to focus on. One is that final temperature that you're looking to reach, and the second is going to be how are we going to get to that point. There's a couple different options you have here with the leg of lamb. It's very versatile. And the first one is before we roll this lamb up, and say we have it laid out in butterflied, we can take it and we can put it on a grill pan or take it outside to the grill. So this way we can get all that surface area, get nice grill marks on there, finish it in the oven, get it to the desired temperature that you want. It's a quicker cook, and it'll add a different dimension of flavor. Another great method of cooking is a slow cooker. It's someone, if you don't have a lot of time and you want to just throw it in there, it's a great idea to start something in the morning, have it ready for you when you're walking indoor, when you come home from work. The only thing I would suggest is maybe taking it and searing off the leg of lamb to add a little more complexity to the finished product, and put in a slow cooker and let it do its thing and come home and enjoy your meal. One of my favorite ways to cook our leg of lamb is to do a simple roast. It's a tried and true method, and it has some amazing benefits that we'll go through right now. So one is to have a roasting pan, right? So if we're gonna go and we're gonna attempt this, we're gonna have a roasting pan, but some of them have this fancy insert, but if you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We're gonna do something that really is even better. What we're gonna do is we're gonna substitute that rack for some vegetables. They could be any vegetables you like. We've got some carrots, celery, and onion here. And then we're gonna place the leg of lamb on top of there. The reason we're gonna do that is because we don't want the lamb directly in the metal pan. It's just gonna take a searing, drying out effect over the long roasting process. But we're still gonna get the benefits of that slow roast where it's gonna break down the meat and make it nice and tender and still juicy and give you that perfect temperature that you wanna serve the lamb at, and a wonderful eating experience for you and your family. All right, we're ready to enjoy the fruits of our labor. The first thing we're gonna do is we wanna make sure we get all the string off, because that is not an ingredient that we were looking to add to this dish. Now that we've got all the twine off, we're gonna switch knives here. We're gonna go with a larger knife to give us a little more leverage and to get through the roast. You'll see those first couple slices will be a little bit on the more well done side. We want to go thin, so it'll eat a little better. The aroma that's coming from those aromatics really pays off now. It's coming up through the steam. You're ready to enjoy this. Serve it however you like, and have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Our links are listed down below.